Okay, welcome everyone to the regular City Council meeting of June 15th, 2026 for Canyon City, Colorado. And if council members, make sure you're signed in, and if the clerk would call the roll, please. Or
everybody is present.
Okay, very good. And with that, I'd like to invite Grant Atkinson from the Canyon City Cowboy Church and for the invocation, and after that we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Amen. Let's bow together and honor our Creator. And Heavenly Father, we are thankful. We're thankful people. We're thankful for you. We're thankful for our country. There's many countries in this world that don't have the blessings we have. And Lord, we know we're not perfect, but we thank you for working on that too. But we're very grateful. And we're thankful for this state, the beauty of it, the privilege to be here. We do request some rain and ask for your help on that as well. And we thank you. I thank you for this community that I was born in, and my family got here in the 1800s, and I thank you for our leadership in all of the areas, and I pray you direct them and lead them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. So I'm not going to follow the agenda completely tonight because I want to move a few things up because we are going to have a number of citizen comments. Let me just orient everyone to what we're going to do, though. We do have two that are not related to paid parking. The rest are, and so I'm going to hold the paid parking ones off until that part of the agenda. The other two will come up before that. But before I even deal with citizens' requests, I would like to deal with one as far as recognition of a significant citizen in our community who has performed lots of different things. And so I would invite Dave DelVecchio and his wife to come on up, and I'd like to read a proclamation recognition for you. And then I'm going to ask Tim to speak, and then what I'd like to do after that is invite all of you who are from the fire department to come on up, and we'll get a photograph, and Dave will get a chance to speak as well. So if you don't mind, I'd like to read the proclamation first of all. Whereas Canyon City Fire Chief David DelVecchio has dedicated his professional life to the service and protection of his community through an exemplary career in fire service spanning decades of leadership, courage, and commitment. And whereas David was selected as chief of the North Cumberland, Rhode Island Fire Department and faithfully served in that role from 2009 through 2011, providing exceptional leadership, guidance, and unwavering dedication to the citizens and firefighters under his command. And whereas following his distinguished service in Rhode Island, Chief DelVecchio was appointed Fire Executive Officer of the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District in January 2011, a position he has held honorably through June 2026. And whereas throughout his tenure with the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District, David demonstrated extraordinary professionalism, integrity, and vision while working tirelessly to enhance public safety, strengthen emergency response capabilities, and support the firefighters and personnel who proudly serve the community. And whereas beyond his outstanding professional accomplishments, David has remained devoted to his family and community, sharing 40 years of marriage with his beloved wife, Lisa, and raising two accomplished children, Anthony and Alyssa. David and Lisa are blessed with 5 cherished grandchildren and look forward to continuing their lives together in Canyon City for the foreseeable future. And whereas the citizens, colleagues, friends, and family of David DelVecchio recognize and deeply appreciate his many years of faithful service, steadfast leadership, and immeasurable contributions to the safety and well-being of the community. Now, therefore, I, Phil Lund, Mayor of Canyon City, on behalf of the City Council and the residents of this community, do hereby proclaim June 30th, 2026 as David DelVecchio Day in the city of Canyon City upon his retirement, extended heartfelt gratitude for many years of dedicated public service, and wish him and his family continued happiness, health, and fulfillment in the years ahead. And dated this 15th day of June, 2026. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'd like to invite Tim Payne up, who's the chair of the fire district, and say a few words, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for giving us the opportunity to speak. I joined the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District Board of Directors in 2010. It was a bit of disarray at the time. We had hired back Danny. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we hired back Dan Brixey to help us out in interim, and we went on a nationwide search for a fire chief. We didn't have any internal candidates at the time, and we picked this young guy from Rhode Island, and in 2011. And first thing he had to do is jump into a issue with E911 regional dispatch center that we were trying to put together. We couldn't get all the entities together, and it took this guy with a funny accent from the East Coast to get everybody together, and we got that done. And our time together, we passed 2 mill levy increases, which is unheard of in today's political climate. But from personal experience, when you're laying on a living room floor having a heart attack and you see these guys in blue shirts show up with their equipment, you're damn sure glad that mill levy passed. We got Station 3 completed. We did a lot of projects together with the firefighters. But the one thing that Chief DelVecchio brought to Canyon City and also to the fire district was a positive cultural change. And that's continued to this day. I have no doubt that Chief Roberts will continue that positive culture. And that is above and beyond everything else that Chief DelVecchio brought to the district. And I want to thank him for 15 plus years that we worked together. Thank Council, thanks Mayor for giving us this opportunity, and thank Dave for being here and being part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave, if you'd like to step up and say a few words, you're welcome to do that.
I'll keep it brief. As I've gotten older, I've used less and less words. So I truly appreciate being here for the last 15 and almost half years. I've made a lot of friends, a lot of connections. The firefighter staff from the district have been great to work with. The accomplishments of the district really go back to the men and women of the fire district and the support of the community. As Tim mentioned, we had 2 mill levies, which were, one was substantial, which allowed us to progress to where we are with our 3rd station. Some grant funds that we received allow us to hire the firefighters we need. When I first came here, one of the messages that was relayed to me was, we don't really get along with the county and the city. So that was one of my main goals, was to establish better relationships. And we've had, I would say, excellent relationships with the city most of the time. We've had some tumultuous issues over the years with different administrations, what have you. I have not really worked with most of you on a one-to-one. A couple of you have been here during that time, so I regret not being here to continue that, but I know Chief Roberts will carry that torch forward, and we'll continue to work together. Ryan Stevens, we've gotten along quite well. I've threatened him that I might run for city council or mayor at some point, but truly, this is the culmination of a little over 49 years in the fire service. Started when I was 16 years old. I went to college, was going to be a stockbroker. That changed. I have a finance degree, but I went into the fire service. And I look back on it, and the positive memories far outweigh the negative. It's been a rewarding experience for me and my family. My wife gave me 3 years when we first moved here, that if we didn't like it, we were going to leave. We made a lot of connections in the community. Some members out here have become friends and acquaintances over the years, and I look forward to maintaining all of that. And I will always be available for assistance on anything that happens within the community, within the city, and naturally the fire district. So I'd like to thank all of you and the community for the support over the last 15 years.
Thank you, David. I'd like to invite the firefighters to come on up, and we're going to get a photograph if we could. And council members, we're going to stand over here up above them. And Chief, I'd like to have you hold the proclamation that was signed, and we'll be good. So council members right in here. Tim, you're welcome to join us as well.
And Lisa as well.
Yeah, Lisa, of course. Yep.
Lisa, what did he say?
You want Yep.
Okay, this way, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, what I'm going to do is return to citizen comments for those who are not focused on the parking issue. And we have two that are focused on other topics. So Rochelle Whitney, if you would come up for talk about what you'd like to, please.
I don't check them. She's been talking about.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. I brought some visual aids this evening.
Okay.
Decided not to bring my notebook. I didn't want you to be thinking, well, here she is again. But here we are again. It's been 10 weeks now since our house was flooded at the corner of 9th and Whipple. And we're still not hearing anything back from the insurance adjuster with Avalanche Excavating. And we've continued to communicate with Leo Evans. But again, he, at the moment, probably can't do much beyond what he is doing. So 10 weeks of not being able to be in the house. We've gotten past the point of needing the portable heaters so that we didn't have pipes freeze inside since we have no heating or cooling from the flood. Now we're to the point where it's just a balmy 80+ degrees in the house because we can't cool the house. So we still are not able to have any function in the property. And I wanted to bring a few things that the ongoing lack of professionalism from the crews that have been working on the 9th Street project have left in our yard in places that will at some point be put in with some new soil, new grass. Leo Evans did come out. They have fixed both the driveway that they had, closed it from 2 to 1 car space, and they have also corrected the mailbox. So the things that we are asking are being taken care of. We're just not hearing anything on the tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage to the foundation, HVAC system, all of the ongoing issues with the house itself. So I wanted to let you know there are a few things that Avalanche Excavating crews leaving behind. I think they think we're bored with this whole project because they're leaving things like that in our yard. And they are, of course, leaving random rebar here and there because I certainly need that in my yard where the soil's going to go to be able to grow the grass, the new grass. And I have several pieces of that if you'd like to see it. I also have some nails because they're nailing it. They're really nailing it. And then they've also been leaving random chunks of net. So I guess they've been involved in the NBA finals because it's nothing but net in the yard. And then we also have, again, some additional netting, same kind of thing. And I will just close with this so that you don't have to see everything unless you just want to. But I know that this is not what it's for, but I'm ready to go tell just about everybody involved in the lack of response and contact for the last 10 weeks on the house to go fly a kite because they're leaving so many things behind, and it's not a good feeling, and it's not a comforting feeling, for what the City of Canyon City and Avalanche Excavating have been doing with that 9th Street project. And I understand that it's about a $5 million project. So my concerns, our concerns for our property may just be a drop in the bucket. But I'd also like to mention the water, considering the drop in the bucket. We mentioned to Travis Payne we were concerned about the thousands, tens of thousands of gallons of water that, according to Google, could be anywhere from 80,000 to 100+ thousand gallons of water that flooded our property. And we as taxpayers get to pay for that because it's our understanding from Travis Payne that the city writes that off. And this is not the first time that happened. There were 2 floods right near 9th and Whipple within 4 or 5 days of each other. And so I'm concerned about the cost that the city is writing off, not only in drought conditions, but just of our precious water, our resource. So thank you again, and we will be back, and I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, Debbie Lake. Welcome, Debbie.
So good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I know lately you've been sitting through a lot of passionate public comment. So unfortunately for all of us, I'm going to talk about a different topic. My name is Debbie Lake, and I'm here to speak about the Clock Tower project on the corner of 3rd and Main in downtown Canyon City. I participated in a lot of the planning and community input efforts connected to this project. Our community was very involved with the project, and people showed up, shared ideas, put in time and thought into what this downtown corner could become. There was real hope behind it. That corner represents more than just an empty space. It represents a shared vision that our community invested in through public input, planning, and a belief that something better was possible there. I understand the council has discussed paring down the original plans, and I respect that direction. Not every project can move forward at its original scale, and adjustments are sometimes necessary to make something achievable. My hope tonight is that as those plans are reduced, the heart of the project is not lost in the process. Even a scaled-down version, something simple and visible, can still carry the original intent forward. A place with seating, lighting, landscaping, and possibly a public restroom would still make a meaningful difference and show that the community input was not only heard, but was carried into reality. Because what concerns me most is not the change in the scope, it's the risk that the public's time and voice feel disconnected from the final result. When people participate in these processes, they do it because they believe that their input matters. And when the outcome feels too far removed from that input, it's easy to feel like it didn't matter. So I'm asking you to keep the connection between the planning and the final product visible. Even a pared down version would still feel like something the community helped shape. Because when a community invests its voice, it deserves to see something grow and not fade away. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Okay, now on the agenda is the time for our council members to make comments or give updates on their committees. So if any committees have met between now and June 1st, I'd like to get an update from that, and then any other updates that we may have.
Yep, I'll start with
Yes, please do,
Budget
Mr. Tony.
One thing right up front, we've got a water committee meeting on the 17th of this month. It's moved due to some timing, so it'll be on the 17th if you want to join us with that. Ryan will cover some of the things we discussed in the budget committee meetings there. I want to mention one thing that's come up through town, through the citizens and through the businesses, is that we have a 1:30 meeting on Thursday about the committees. And there was some concern that the citizens could not come at that 1:30 meeting. They're working. So they wanted to get it moved to a 6 o'clock meeting. So I'd like to, I guess, do I need to make a motion on that or Thumbs up or something?
So,
What?
yeah, let's figure this out. So, city council members, we have right now a special committee meeting that is occurring at 1:30 on Thursday, the 18th. Is there interest, if you want to make a motion, I think that would formalize the issue as far as making a change in that. And Corey, are you having any issues with that concern?
I don't have any issues, but I don't think it's necessary since it's for one of the smaller, for one of the committees. I don't think,
It's not. It's a special city council
City
meeting.
council
Oh.
regarding the committees.
okay, then sure.
Okay, I'll make the motion of moving. Okay.
Let's get a poll. Are you good with this? Anyone's going to be raising concerns?
Yeah, I can't make it Thursday night either.
Just so you know, I did do a doodle poll for everybody, and this was the only time that the most people could make it, just so you're aware.
I understand that. I was just getting the input from the citizens and their concern that we're doing it during hours they couldn't speak or attend the meeting. So that's up to us if we want to let the citizens see what we're doing or not.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One thing, I also received that feedback and I want to honor it. I also want to point out that there are folks in our community who work swing shift and graveyard shift as well. And I don't know that we can say, you know, with certainty that that this is like excluding them as well. You know, people work at different times and sometimes we have to be flexible in that. So I'm not opposed to changing the time, but I want to acknowledge the people who don't work the 9 to 5.
Can the two that can't make it, can you make 5 o'clock?
No, that's why I picked the 1:30. I'm going to
Yeah.
be gone that late afternoon.
I can't make it either.
Okay,
can't
what
make
about Friday? Friday night's probably not going to work. This is an important meeting, and the bridge contract is on there. Do we want to move it to next Monday night at 6 o'clock?
We have CML.
We're going to be down there in Denver, yep. I'm open to a time that works. Can we still have time to have it on a Wednesday? I know we've
Could
got
we do
the
it earlier
special
in the
meeting that is taking place with the Planning Commission. Can we follow it up with that or have it at 5 o'clock?
I'm worried about the timing with the bridge contract if we're going to have enough time to put that on for Wednesday.
That's a critical component. What if, is there urgency with having this issue dealt with? I'm talking about the committee meeting, that we can't postpone it until after another week behind that. Is there urgency that it has to be done this week? Okay. And so if we did the bridge contract, which will require, it's going to be about a 5-minute meeting, maybe a little longer than that, to discuss the contract. We've been in negotiations for a long time with this, and I think we've come to a conclusion this week. And so if we kept 1:30 and we only kept it on the bridge contract and we moved the committee meeting discussion back a week or 10 days, that could work for everyone? Are you okay with that?
It has to be past the 29th.
Past the what? 29th? Reason?
So
Okay.
if you're going to move it, I would recommend just putting it on the next regular city council meeting on July 6th.
Is anybody opposed to that? Mr. Tony, you want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to move the committee
Microphone, sir.
to July 6th.
Mike?
I'll make the motion to move that committee meeting till July 6th at that city council meeting.
Is there support for that?
Second.
Jeremy Reeves supports. Any discussion on that motion? Call the roll. Everyone vote. Everyone voting?
It's not coming up with the right thing. There we go. Big machinery.
Mayor Pro Tem Schmischer, may I have your vote, please?
Aye.
Unanimously passed.
Okay, now what we didn't do was change the meeting on 1:30 on Thursday, and the only item that will be on the agenda is going to be the bridge contract, correct?
I'm confused.
That is correct.
Okay.
I have something else too.
On that specific issue?
Not on that topic.
Okay, but I just wanted to make sure we've got consensus. We are going to be meeting on the 18th at 1:30, and that's to conclude the bridge contract and a new provider for the next 25 years. Okay, Mr. Joni.
Okay, there was one other thing that's happened recently, is that the county commissioners passed a contract, I guess it would be, for the Parkdale aggregate to be moved by truck instead of rail. They used to move by rail. It wasn't economic to move it by truck. They had 14 trucks, I think, per day in their contract. They've got a new contract that's for 2 years, and you could go check on this. I may have a couple of things wrong, but the point is there's going to be 120 trucks a day coming through Canyon City now. Gravel, additional trucks per day coming through Canyon City. So there's some issues with that in the safety, road repairs, and our noise issues. I've had issues with Jake brakes, engine brakes coming through town, starting from Home Depot, some of them using engine brakes all the way through town. It's in our general powers to enforce quiet, education, prosperity, general welfare of the city. And we do have a ordinance prohibiting the use of compression or engine brakes except for emergencies. And it should be only used for emergencies. I think we have a violation fee. I think Amy, Pro Tem Smisher, had said it's $500 a run. There's Colorado law that says Colorado vehicles noise laws strictly prohibit modified exhaust systems that produce excessive and unusual noise. State law requires all motor vehicles to maintain a continuous operating adequate muffler and bans exhaust cutoffs or bypasses, while state statutes do not list absolute decibel numbers or standard passenger cars. Individual cities and counties enforce local decibel limits and penalties. Core state regulations, mufflers are required. Modifications banned. It is illegal to modify an exhaust system to amplify noise above the original factory installed muffler limits. Bypasses are prohibited. It's a Class B traffic infraction. Violations generally result in a Class B traffic ticket, which carries signs usually starting at $100, but commercial vehicles, engine brakes, commercial vehicles using compression engine brakes, Jake brakes are required by law to be equipped with proper mufflers. There are severe penalties. Operating a commercial vehicle without a muffler while using compression brakes lead to heavy fines. So, and there are decibel levels, but I think we need to ask the city staff and the chief to look into the ability to levy these fines. I don't believe we've issued a citation since this ordinance was enacted. I think it's time we need to start enforcing this before we start having 120 more trucks a day coming through town, going through the crosswalks and for our safety of our citizens. That may need to go into the Safety and Quality of Life Committee, I would think, to help do that.
Or just direct the city administrator to follow up on this issue, and because it's already an ordinance, there's nothing that they need to address, I don't think. It's enforcing what is already in place. So Ryan is shaking his head that he'll follow up on it.
Yeah, that's correct. We can follow up on it. When the ordinance was passed, we had discussion with the city council at the time about how hard this ordinance is to enforce. It does take directed enforcement. So when we have lower staffing levels, it does become a challenge to enforce because you do need officers out there to be able to hear the infraction and then pull over the vehicle. We have done some targeted interdiction with that. We have had some cases where it's been noticed, and I think the times that it has been noticed, it's been related to stopping or traffic conditions. But we will work and come back with a plan. The other issue that I wanted to mention is that we have also worked with Colorado State Patrol on doing inspections on vehicles as well to make sure that those Jake brakes are installed properly. But we will come back with a plan regarding the existing ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Councilmember Schmischer, do you have anything from Public Works Committee?
Thanks so
Excuse
much.
me, not
I
Public
also
Works,
did
Public
just want to
Safety.
share that we did have the Jake Break ordinance on our Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee meeting. I believe it was in May. And Chief Schick provided a fairly lengthy update about what efforts have been undertaken thus far. So looking forward to the update from City Administrator Stevens at a future City Council meeting as well. The Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee did meet after the June 1st City Council meeting. The conversation at that committee meeting was mostly about the committee structure, what's been working well, possible areas for improvement. How do we build upon the desire to have broad public input and broad transparency and kind of leveraging citizen expertise and interest within our committee structure, while still ensuring that all city council members get access to the same information at the same time and that the committee structure is as efficient as possible. So that was a really, really great conversation, hearing from some of the public members who have faithfully served on the Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee. So based on that conversation, I put together a draft resolution modifying a little bit the committee structure moving forward to try to achieve both of those goals and really advance the lessons learned from the committee process thus far. That's currently with the committee members, and then I hope to share it with City Council, obviously in advance of the July 6th meeting. Our next Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee meeting will be on July 8th at 10 a.m. at Macon Plaza. We'll actually be putting flags in the ground. One of our committee members, we're very fortunate to have Lester Lamone on the Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee, and he'll be marking out where potential play structures in Macon Plaza could go. Again, these are nature-based, natural-looking, and funding would be provided in part by the Friends of the Library, a separate 501c3. Immediately following that at about 11 a.m., depending on how long the flagging and kind of walking Macon Plaza takes, we'll be meeting in the Carnegie Room of the library to talk about some of the challenges and opportunities around public restrooms. We have public restrooms that have been permanently closed in Veterans Park for quite some time now. So just really talking through why is that, what are the challenges that we face there, and kind of using the public committee members, as they put it, as a think tank to really brainstorm and think through how do we move forward with that, particularly if we're thinking about putting in public restrooms at Clock Tower Plaza. How do we make sure that the lessons that we've learned from previous public restrooms and other city parks can be enacted, and those challenges can be mitigated before we add more. So again, July 8th, 10 a.m., Macon Plaza, and then about the Macon Plaza play structures, and then immediately following in the Carnegie Room, which is the old part of the library on the first floor, around challenges and opportunities with our City of Canyon City public restrooms. Thanks.
Thank you. There was not an Economic Development Committee meeting since June 1. I do want to bring up one other issue just so the citizens are completely informed about this. On June the 9th, the Rec District did meet and has chosen not to move forward with the pool. At the June 1st meeting, the mayor put together a committee to look at the funds that have already been collected, and I want to give Mr. Tony, I'm giving you a heads up that I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about that the meeting is tomorrow. There's two different things going on. There's one is the monies that are collected, and in talking with Ryan Stevens, and I think we're looking at probably $1.5 to $2 million that will be collected by the time of the election in November. And the goal is to have something before the citizens for them to vote on as far as where those monies would go, according to Tabor. We have to have ballot language in place by August the 1st, and that is what the committee is meeting. And again, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tony in just a second about that meeting tomorrow. There's 7 members of the community that are participating. Fred Tony is the chair of that. Tammy Nordyke is also the finance director who is participating, and then 5 citizen members. There's the other issue, just for clarity's sake, is that come mid-November, the council has to make a decision if they want to cease collecting the sales tax. And I would assume that that will be the case simply because it's no longer being directed for what it was voted on. But those are 2 different issues. And so just be aware that there's 2 different things going on that. With that, Mr. Tony, you have a meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I believe?
It's tomorrow at 9 o'clock. It'll be more of a introduction to all the members to get to know one another, see what the strengths and weaknesses are of each. And then we'll set up the meeting so the public can make sure and attend those meetings. We'll have several of them because we got a July 13th deadline, I believe.
That's correct. July 13th puts it in line so that on July the 20th, the council at its regular meeting can make a decision prior to the August 1st deadline.
Correct. So we'll be meeting tomorrow just to sort of get a lay of the land and find our goals and go from there. So
okay,
we'll be setting dates for those meetings, and it'll be several before
okay.
then. Maybe
Very good.
Even one more.
And the
one
public
or
will
more
have a
week.
good chance to participate.
Yes.
Okay. Any other council members have other items they would like to bring before us? Amy?
I just have a question about that committee structure and the sequencing of events. Will that committee, prior to July 13th, be working with the city attorneys on language that would then be on the city council agenda? Or will they be providing ideas for the July 6th meeting that city council can then provide input on? I just want to make sure I understand the sequence of events. Thanks.
Yeah, the August 1st deadline is something that requires both the attorneys putting that language together. My understanding, Corey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there can only be one thing that is put on the ballot. You can't give citizens options. And so I believe the council will be given options on the 13th that you can decide upon as council members. And then based on that decision, the attorneys can put together the final language that could go on the ballot.
Okay, that was the question. I think what Mayor Pro Tem was referring to is drafting the actual question, because Tabor has language that is mandatory in terms of what that language looks like.
I think, again, on the 20th of July, the council can make its decision on what the options are before it, turn it over to the attorneys, and by August 1st, that language we put in legal form that fits into Tabor and all the other regulations, and will be going forward at that point.
My question, Mayor, and Attorney Hoffman, please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that City Council would need to vote on the specific language that would go onto the ballot. So if we're voting on options that would then be provided to the attorneys at our July 20th meeting, and the attorneys are to draft it before the August 1st deadline, I just want to understand when council will vote on the specific language that will go onto the ballot. Thanks.
Under the schedule that we're discussing, that vote would have to occur in August because ultimately the ballot language has to be finalized, finally approved by the first week of September. And so that August date gives time for that language to be finalized and provided to the county in time for the ballot deadline.
Perfect. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Mayor Lund, if it's all right, I have one alibi from the readout from our committee meeting.
Go ahead.
Our committee also briefly discussed the Clock Tower Plaza, and there was significant interest from the Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee meeting members to ensure that we didn't just drop the Clock Tower Plaza, that similar to Ms. Lake's comments, that we ensure that we understand if there does need to be a pared down version based on the amount of grant funding that was made available, that we understand which aspects of the publicly endorsed project we do move forward with. I think during the Budget, Finance, and Public Works Committee, discussion was had about perhaps having the City Public Information Office do a survey that kind of outlines a couple of different options of what could be done with the amount of funding that we have available. And I just wanted to see if we could get that on a future City Council agenda to provide that if the rest of City Council concurs, to provide that direction to staff to move forward. Given that the grant funding doesn't expire until summer of 2027, we do potentially have the opportunity, as long as we move fairly swiftly, to still possibly use some of that funding, as long as we are enacting kind of what the public input and public process had found, if that makes sense. So if it's all right with council, I would suggest that we put it on the July 6th agenda, simply to provide City Council direction to staff about the future of Clock Tower Plaza and kind of how do we solicit public input on the way forward. Thanks.
So my understanding from the vote that the council did in the past was simply to not approve the bid that was put forth, and there was no further action by this council beyond that. And what do we need to do if it's council's preference to pick this back up? Because at this point, I viewed that there was no forward motion or movement on that. So again, how do we give direction? Maybe that's what Councilmember Schmischer is asking about, but it seems like that's also some plans that we're going to survey the public and do things. Then I don't think that this council's given that direction to take a next step.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that we can just have Clock Tower Plaza on the agenda on July 6th so that we can discuss as a council, is there forward movement? Do we wish to do that? Given that it was discussed at length during 2 of the 3 committees. So not looking to give any direction tonight, just asking if we could please have it as an agenda item during the July 6th meeting. Thanks.
I think we'll go ahead and do that, Brian, and I'll work on that and get it on the agenda.
Sounds good.
Okay. Other council members, any other things that we need to address? Seeing none, Tim, go ahead.
I had my request to speak. Just going back to the quarry deal, just real quick, could we contact them just to ask them about the trucks, just as we did with, the quarry right over here? Just, talk to somebody and say, hey, this is what's going on, watch it through town. And
Yeah, we can do that. I
just
don't know. Chief, have we spoken with Parkdale Quarry before? No?
Yeah, I just thought, it might be good just to give them a shout out, just to, yep.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you.
we happy to reach out to them.
No, thank you, Ryan.
Anyone else on the council? If not, Butch Batchelder, if you'd come up, please, and we'll deal with employee recognition, which is what we traditionally do on the second meeting of the month.
You stole my thunder.
Sorry about that.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, other distinguished participants of the dais. As the mayor indicated, we're at their second meeting of City Council for the month, so that means this is an opportunity for us to recognize our employees who are experiencing a milestone of employment with the city. This evening, we will be recognizing 2 employees. Unfortunately, only one of them could be in attendance this evening, but I do want to recognize the other employee for their 20 years of service with the city. That employee would be Scott Zabruski. Scott started with the city on June 5th, 2006. He was hired as a mechanic in the equipment repair shop, a position he continues to hold and excel at in support of all the city departments. Okay. And then we have Brandon Merez, and I think Brandon is normally sitting in the control booth, but if he would like to step out here and join me. Thank you, Brandon. So Brandon was hired on June 3rd, 2006 as a library assistant. On December 20th, 2014, Brandon took on additional responsibilities as a museum assistant 2 days a week and a library assistant 3 days a week. On May 5th, 2020, Brandon was reclassified as the multimedia technician in the museum. Then on August 5th, 2025, Brandon was reassigned to the Public Information Office to bring his considerable talents to bear for the benefit of the entire city. As is normally our practice, we usually have the supervisor up here to talk about the employee, but unfortunately, Brandon's supervisor, I understand, is stuck in traffic somewhere between here and Denver. So her supervisor who is the city administrator, is going to say a few words.
She was actually flying and her flight was canceled, so she wasn't able to make it today. I want to recognize Brandon. 20 years is a long time, and Brandon is probably one of the most humble people that you can meet. He doesn't ask for a lot of recognition and likes to be the guy behind the scenes, in that control booth, and it makes everything work for us. I've never seen Brandon not turn down something. He's always there to lend a helping hand wherever he can across any departments. And we really appreciate everything that you do for this city. Brandon, you are one of the cogs behind the scenes that really make this city run, and certainly appreciate everything that you do and how humble and you go about doing the business. So thank you very much.
Would you like to say a few words, sir?
So if I could get council to step down in front of the dais.
Would Brendan like to say some words? You want to say anything? Okay. Go ahead.
Not really. No, I do want to say thank you, though, Ryan, for, everything that you do. And I do appreciate, I've had the unique perspective to be able to work in multiple departments. And there are great employees in all of these departments. They are your friends, your neighbors, your family. They are just amazing people, and I appreciate everybody that I work with. So
thank you. I do want to acknowledge that is the control room, so if citizens are not watching, he's back there giving us a flag that we're ready to start in 10 seconds and all those things, and he's got control of the council when we're starting those meetings. So let's all go down and get a picture with Brendan.
If you would, please step down in front of the dais. Yep. We'll get Brandon over there, and we'll really make him uncomfortable. Act like you're having fun, Brandon. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, next on the item agenda is the consent agenda, and City Administrator, if you would go ahead and work through that process, please.
Thank you, Mayor Lund. Members of Council, item 8A is to approve the minutes for the regular City Council meeting on June 1st. 8B accepts resignations and additions to the Trails Policy Committee. 8C approves K9 Tahoe upfitting in an amount not to exceed $13,500 and PD replacement Tahoe upfit in an amount not to exceed $24,000. 8D approves e-bike purchase for Recon Power Bikes in an amount not to exceed $22,793.92. 8E awards bid 80-26 co-response software renewal to Gelada in an amount not to exceed $15,153. 8F awards bid 81-26 policy software renewal to Lexipol in an amount not to exceed $14,044.96. 8G awards bid 82-26 financial management software renewal to Springbrook in an amount not to exceed $42,716.36. 8H awards bid 83-26 court management software to Tyler Technologies in an amount not to exceed $37,850.25. 8I awards bid 90-26 Axon fleet renewal to Axon in an amount not to exceed $87,073.50. 8J is to receive and file monthly budget summary for April. 8K is to receive and file cash disbursements, and 8L is to receive and ratify cash disbursements.
Thank you. I have just one question I've alerted you to, which is just a little more on I, which is dealing with license plate readers, but this is in the vehicles, and I just, given our meeting last week, a week ago tonight, dealing with flock cameras, I would like to make sure the citizens are completely aware of what is going on with I.
Yeah, there are multiple license plate readers that are utilized in various capacities. And what was handled at the last meeting last week had to do with the flock cameras and the flock safety system. That contract has been canceled. Those license plate readers for those stationary cameras, those have been disabled and will be taken down. The item 8I is about the license plate readers that are in our vehicles. Those are managed by Axon. Completely different network, completely different security protocols, and those are used for the safety of the officers as they are approaching vehicles or scanning vehicles so that they're alerted to any potential issues. And I don't know, Chief, do you have anything you would like to say about the Axon cameras and the dash cams? Yep.
Okay, any other council members on that particular issue?
Tim Smisher.
Go ahead. I see that hand.
Thank you. Just one comment on another consent agenda item. Just wanted to thank Ashley Sack, Mary Yang, and Brian Ledoux. They're our outgoing Trails Use Policy Committee members. They were original members of this committee, and their expertise was invaluable in establishing our Trails Use policies. So just wanted to thank them for their time and service.
Thank you. Any additions or corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda and go from there. Anybody? Sarah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Jerry?
I'll second.
Oh, and agenda.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any
Still
discussion on
seconded.
this motion? Go ahead and vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Smisher, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Unanimously passed.
Okay, thank you very much, City Clerk. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you again, Mayor Lund, members of council. I just spoke about the flock safety cameras. Those were turned off on the morning of June 10th. We had our kickoff meeting with the Citygate consultant that's going to be reviewing our development process. That was done on June 9th. We just received the request for information over the weekend, so we're going to be gathering all of the documents that they're looking for to analyze our processes, and we'll be getting that to them here in the next week. We have a joint City Council Planning Commission meeting this Wednesday at 6 p.m. We'll be discussing the Western Gateway project and where we're at. These are the recommendations that will be coming forward from the consultants after all of the citizen input. And they also have broken down the project into various phases with potential funding for each of those phases. So that should be a really good meeting with all the culmination of all the hard work that's gone into that project. Another key thing, Fremont County Emergency Management, they're kicking off their 5-year updated hazard mitigation plan. The city will be participating on the items that are important to the city as far as the hazards within the city limits. As part of this plan, and this is really important for the citizens that are both in the audience and maybe watching online, there is an online survey that Fremont Emergency Management has out there asking about potential hazards within Fremont County. If you can go and look at that survey and complete that, that would be very helpful for Michael Kroll, our emergency manager for the county. And then on June 10th, the city hosted a delegation from the USDA. Senator Bennett's office, Senator Hickenlooper, and Congresswoman Pedersen were also, their representatives were also here in town. They toured the Western Gateway project, the possibility of the John Griffin Reservoir project, and 4 Mile Ranch, and then we ended that tour down on Main Street, walking back to City Hall. Talking about potential projects on Main Street and throughout the community. For those who don't know, the Valleywide building on Main Street, that was a USDA funded project, and they were taking a look at that as well with their staff members. So really good economic developments, building relationships with our partners, and it was a really good meeting overall.
Thank you. If you could give just a little more update on the bridge contract, because I see that was in your report.
Yep. So as we mentioned earlier in the meeting, we'll be meeting Thursday at 1:30 to hopefully approve the contract. Catherine Sellers and I had a meeting with the attorneys and the operator on Saturday to try and hammer out the final details of the contract. Sent over that draft to the operator today, and they're going to be reviewing it. It's also gone to our contract review committee as well. And barring any last minute big hurdles, and I don't think there are any, keeping my fingers crossed, we will have that on the packet, or in a packet, and for the agenda on Thursday.
Okay, very good. Any questions for the city administrator on his report? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is item number 10. And this is an introduction and adoption by title only of Resolution 5, Series 2026, entitled A Resolution of the City of Canyon City, Colorado, approving the city's master file fee schedule. And City Administrator, if you give the staff report on that, please.
Actually, Cindy, did you want to do that?
Every couple years, we try to update our master file so that we have all of our fees for the city in one place. The fees are all approved separately on different ordinances. This just compiles them in one place, so if people want to know what the fees are, they can go to one document instead of 22 different documents to find all the information. And it had been 2 years since I had updated it. So that's all this is an update of all the fees that have already been approved, put into one place.
Okay, so no fee changes at all. Okay. Any further questions about that? And if not, I would entertain a motion to move this forward. Mr. Tony.
I had one question. On the building fees, there's several. Any way we can bundle those into one fee?
That would be a separate conversation because they are all set by different ordinances. All those fees are set by ordinance, not, this is just putting them into one place. So that would have to be a discussion for building department with those ordinances, not on the resolution.
I would hope the consultant might look at fees as well as part of that plan that they're looking at. So, okay. Again, I'm still looking for a motion. If there's anyone who wants to step up to the plate and put this as a first reading, that would be great. Tim Dennehy, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt by title only Resolution 5, Series of 2026.
Okay. Is there support? Fred Tony?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion on this motion? If not, go ahead and please proceed to voting.
Mayor Pro Tem Smisher, may I have your vote, please?
Aye.
Unanimously passed.
Okay, thank you very much, Council. Next item on the agenda is introduction and adoption by title only of Resolution 6, Series 2026, entitled A Resolution of the City of Canyon City, Colorado, adopting the city's historic preservation design guidelines. City Administrator.
And we're going to ask Lisa Stutz from our museum to come up. She is also the staff liaison to the Historic Preservation Commission. Lisa's been working very hard on this for about a year now, right? 2
years.
Yep. To bring forward these design guidelines as it relates to historic preservation.
Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. The purpose of the design guidelines are to offer clear guidance for preservation and modification of existing buildings within our historic downtown, to establish standards for new construction within this area, and to strengthen downtown's identity by keeping its historical integrity.
Lisa, would you put the microphone a little closer?
Sorry.
Thank you.
The guidelines are not intended to hinder development or compromise any life safety requirements by any means, but are to help owners and others understand what they can do to preserve Canyon City's historic character for future generations. With that, I welcome any questions or comments.
Any questions or comments, council members?
Yeah, just to clarify, that's from like 9th to 3rd Street, right?
It's actually the area that the commission is recommending is 1st all the way to 14th.
Okay. Great.
And the map, yeah, it's on the map.
Any other questions for Lisa? Kathy Worthington.
Lisa, I want to thank you and the commission for doing as much as you've had. I mean, going through this is amazing and really makes it very thorough, and it also indicates that people that want to do this really want to do this and do it right.
That's what we're hoping for.
City Administrator.
Yeah, the one thing that I forgot to mention previously is this did go to the Economic Development Committee a couple of times for consideration and some adjustments before it was brought forward to this committee, and it was voted on in the Economic Development Committee to put it on this agenda.
And that included process changes just to make sure clarity is there and so that there would be no confusion with any of this. Is that correct, Lisa?
Correct.
Okay. I'm open to a motion to move this forward. Sarah?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the council adopt the resolution number 6, series of 2026, titled A Resolution of the City of Canyon City, Colorado, adopting the city's historic preservation design guidelines.
Jerry?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Smisher, may I have your vote, please?
Aye.
Unanimously passed.
Thank you very much. And the next item on the agenda is 10C. This is the second reading and adoption by title only of Ordinance 10, Series 2026, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City rezoning the real property located at 1718 Franklin Avenue to R3 High Density Residential. City Administrator?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a second reading. The city staff has not received any additional public comment, and staff would recommend passing on second reading.
Okay. Any questions? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve this. Councilmember Maloney.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve ordinance number 10, series of 2026 by title on second reading.
Councilmember Worthington. Any
I
discussion?
second.
Okay. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Smisher, may I have your vote, please?
Aye.
Unanimously passed.
Okay, next item on the agenda is 10D, which is dealing with the Public Art Committee Centennial Park Ramp Mural Project.
And we're going to have our Economic Development Manager, Rick Harmon, give a presentation, and I believe we also have representation from the Public Art Committee as well.
And the next item after this is paid parking, for those of you who are here for that particular thing, so this will be the last item before that.
This is nothing. You guys aren't interested in this one at all. Thank you, Council.
Welcome, Rick.
I am the staff liaison of the Public Art Committee. The Public Art Committee started a couple of years ago and has been working on projects like trying to figure out how to work with the sculptures on Main Street. We have a couple of different ways that we can collect art. One is through a submission process. In other words, the artist contacts us interested in doing something. And then another one is through a call to artists. What we were talking about today is a submission of a mural idea that came to us through a relationship between Colleen and the artist. And it's a project that is part of his effort to put a mural in all 50 states. Canyon City would be the only community that has the mural. On June 6th, we put together a short survey for the community, and I sent you those results today. And Colleen is here to talk about this project a little bit more and the decision made by, or at least recommendation made by Public Art Committee. They met last week in a special meeting to discuss this. And let me grab the clicker for her, and I'll hand it over to her.
Welcome, Colleen.
Thank you. It's nice to see everyone. We've been, planning and just trying to figure out, how we can bring some more public art to the city. There's statistical data to prove that art is important in terms of a theft deterrent and all kinds of good data. But Nick's project, he's 20% there. I think I have a nice map of the states that he's already put a mural in, and his goal is to have a mural painted by him in all 50 states. So when he approached us about doing this, I think beyond it just being a mural, it's also an opportunity to become part of a larger national project. And, being here, tourism is a big part of what we offer. And I think another reason for people to visit us is a good thing. So we put the call out the vote out to the public, and that was to start the process of engaging the public. I feel like we're on the Public Art Committee, but not a ton of people come to our meetings, and so we're trying to get more people involved and excited about what we could see in our public spaces. This wall came up as a possibility for this project, and there's a specific consideration for this wall. I don't know if you can see from the audience, but council can see there's a heavy texture. So the artist, as well as the committee, who is comprised of arts professionals and people with experience in these things, are making note of that texture, because when the results came in, the leader, or the most votes, was for the first design, which happens to be a very rooted in realism, so very specific rendering of the columbine flowers. And in further discussion with the artist, that is a challenge for this space. So the committee met and we discussed every option, and we are recommending, based on this site, the specific site, that we go with the third design. And I think, so here is the wall, and this is it without anything on it, as what it is now. So you can see it, it's that, I tried to take one from a distance so you could understand the value of the third design in how it attracts your eye in this space. So we're trying to create visual interest. So this is number one, and from this distance it becomes a little difficult to read what those are. So that's another aspect to this design that we felt wasn't as strong. This is the second one, which, a little bit clearer, a little more high contrast, so your eye does kind of land there. And then the third design is this one that's got bold colors and movement. So after discussion, the committee voted, and we are supporting this third design because of its color and its ability to attract the eye. It's also a playground, it's sort of this pedestrian bridge that leads to a playground with the splash pad. So color tends to attract children, there's a response that people have to that. It's playful. Yeah, I feel like I can answer any questions you might have, but that's a little bit about the process. And what I will say about the vote that we did put out, it was a good chance for us to learn. Like, I know for me, reading the responses made me aware of what the community thinks and how they respond to things, and where there's space for education or more engagement. And so the committee has been working on other projects to engage that feedback. And I think that was the valuable part of that vote that we put out, was learning what concerns people have and what people are wanting to see. So, yeah, I can field any questions if you have them.
Okay. Ryan, what is the need for the council tonight? Are we making a vote to approve this, or what's necessary?
I think we would look for a vote for recommendation for approval, yes.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Colleen? Fred Tony's first with a question, and then Kathy, you'll be up for the motion.
So I was reading the Zimbro believes the visual art is a vital tool in progress of humanity and the graceful development of our natural world. I was thinking that was it would be more of a natural mural. This looks different than that.
Yeah.
But, so did the citizens vote on this out of the three, or was this chosen by?
So citizens were presented with the same three designs that I'm presenting you with.
Yeah.
And I think you guys were forwarded the results of that vote. There was the number one did get the most votes. I think the voting was out for a week. We are working on our sort of, expanding that timeline so that there's more time for more feedback. But for this particular vote, it was a week, and I think we got a total of 120 votes, I think.
230.
230 votes. And this one received the most votes, with 2 and 3 pretty tied.
So if the citizens voted for number one, why did we choose number three?
Well, because of the wall texture. So this wall has this, you can see it's like stucco. I don't know if you can you tell from this image what that texture looks like? Yeah. So the issue with a realistic design on a textured wall like this that is only 6 feet tall is when you're rendering realism, there's a lot of value shifts, really subtle value shifts that go into that. And so the issue with this wall is that is not going to translate as well. So that was a concern that the artist had, and then, the experience I've had in making things, that is a concern for this particular space. There were votes for the other designs, and so, I think the committee is in place to, get this response and try to engage the public, and that's what we're trying to do. But I think in this context, with this specific project, the committee deferred to their expertise on the matter. So I recognize that, it's like, we also have 12,000 citizens and only 200 voted. So I feel like we're working on getting those votes and that engagement up. And this was sort of a condensed timeline just to work with the artist's schedule. So that's my response to that question.
So
hopefully it's satisfying.
Does this fit in with the Canyon City spirit and the?
Well, I would say yes, but I feel like, it's tough to say, like, get everyone to agree what that is, but I think that's why we looked at the three and decided, like, the bright colors, the movement, the sort of lightness that this design has, that encapsulates a community that is playful and bold, and I feel like that's what I see in Canyon, but I know art is a very subjective thing, so it's tough to get everyone to agree on one thing. Yeah, you could, sorry.
One thing I'd like to add, and it's funny because I had my preference of murals too, and this was it actually. But when I started to think about the realism and the landscape around there, you start to think, well, there's trees, there's water. When I look at this, I see rafting. I see the river and rafting. The other thing that we talked about, and this came up really through Colleen, she recently was on the train and came back from the train and saw that ramp right there and thought this will be a visible, very visible, bold mural that hopefully, what I interpret there is that hopefully, if and when the train builds their parking lot, and they likely will, that draws some attention to prevent people from going to their cars right off the bat, and they get a picture in front of that, and then they get in their car and they go downtown. The struggle I see with things as they are going now, if they build another train, is that people get in their car and they'll leave. If we can prevent them from getting in their car and going and enjoying the river, going and enjoying the river walk, going and enjoying Centennial Park, I think that mural would probably be the most likely to do that.
So that mural's going to invite the people to the park and the
It would invite
river.
me. Yeah, it will invite everybody. Not everybody agrees on art,
But also, I think what is most striking, just to add, with the three, where do I point this? is not working anymore. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, you know, I think all of them are better than this, but, you know, you think about, this is kind of a little tricky to understand what that is from a distance. The first one are realistic depictions of Columbine. So the designs, we did send out pictures which were in the vote. Sorry. Yeah, the photos, well, I think I heard some feedback that they weren't that clear, but the photo would have been a little closer, so you would have been able to recognize that they are Columbines. But to paint a realistic Columbine, like I said, involves a lot of value shifts and color subtlety, and on a textured wall like that, it's a little challenging. So, you know, 2 and 3, we felt like 3 was the one that attracted your eye the most. Okay. And, you know, yes, I was on the train, and that is like a visual impact. You ride right by that. And so, you know, what it does is it gives a reason for people to walk over, look at it, take a picture with it, and then through that, hopefully they decide, well, let's go walk around a little bit more instead of just leaving. So that was our reasoning for it.
Councilmember McCullough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Was there ever a consideration of retexturing the wall to accommodate the vote for the first one?
So no, not really. I mean, I think because of cost. Do you want to field that one?
It would be extremely difficult and very costly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Dennehy.
Thank you for coming. And, you know, we could get smoothed out if maybe Rick would go over with some grinder or something. He could probably have her done in no time. But, you know, they're great. But I'm going to say this just as my own personal opinion. I would still like, if we're going to do something down there, especially with the wave there, with the Whitewater Festival, I would like to see something. I don't see the water. I'd like to see something with the wave, something with water. You know what? You kind of see what I'm saying? That's our park where we have all our water stuff, and you know, and like I said, the Whitewater Festival, the wave is literally right there. You walk right there, you can see the wave, and.
But then why do you need a picture of it, I guess? That's my question.
But I guess that would attract, I'm just saying, for me, I would like to see something to incorporate a little bit more water structure, because I think that might draw people, because that, and then, you know, they walk over there and, wow, you got people kayaking and rafting right there on the wave, and I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. Absolutely, and everybody's got, like you said, everybody's got their views on stuff. So, but thank you.
But I also, we hear that feedback, you know, and there are several murals in town that do have those things depicted. So I think we were trying to sort of branch out a little bit and focus more on like the energy of the way it feels, you know, when you look at it. So, but we hear that representation is something people like here. So we are hearing that.
As the non-artistic person on the committee, trust me, everything is what people have said tonight is exactly what we've gone through when we were discussing it. The big mistake is I'd like to consider our voting on this as a learning experience, because this is I think the first time that this committee has put something out for a vote from the community. And of course it had to be art, and of course everybody's opinion is a little bit different. And I liked the Columbines when I first heard about it. Unfortunately, we didn't know about the texturing or the impact that the texture of the wall would have when we put the vote out. Then you talk to the artist and he says, oh, by the way, I hope you don't really pick this one because it's not textured really well for us to look at it. And it's like, okay. As far as redoing the wall, we have to remember this gentleman came to us. And we are paying a very small amount to have this done. I don't know what his normal rate of artwork would be, but it's a lot more than what we're having to put into. And so I think this is a great opportunity. I immediately, when we kind of narrowed in on this particular one, I thought of the surfboard that was just installed on the park what has to do with the river, has to do with the water, and I saw a great resemblance to this. So, again, this is just one piece of art of which we will have many opportunities to do more public art. So I think we just take this and thank the gentleman who's volunteered to do almost the entire cost of it and go from there.
Was that a motion?
I definitely make that a motion.
Okay, very good. Is there a support to that motion? Sarah?
Seconded.
Okay, any further discussion on this issue? Let's go ahead and vote. And while they're doing that, Colleen, I want to thank you for your leadership. It's very much appreciated by this community. Thank you.
Thanks. Mayor Pro Tem Smisher, may I have your vote, please?
Aye.
Passed 6-1 with Fred Tony saying no.
Okay, very good. That does pass. And again, thank you, Rick, and thank you, Colleen, for that. Next item on the agenda is the paid parking issue. Thinking about how to handle this so that citizens' comments on the normal agenda would be right up in front and without any kind of setting up the stage as far as what that would be. So that's how I'm going to handle it at this point, is just to go right into citizen comments, and then we'll have the council discussion following that, following the procedure that typically takes place on this. So I've got 13 different ones. If I give you 3 minutes apiece, which is what people get, that's going to be about 40 minutes. And so I'm going to try to hold everyone, at least if you would help with me holding you to that. And when you see the 30-second thing to kind of wrap it up, that would be most helpful. And I'm going to take them in the order that the city clerk gave them to me. And they haven't been shuffled or anything since that. So the first one up is Jacob Mueller, who filled it out online. In front of me. I'm just going to let him go. So go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. I'd like to start out, I don't think I've interacted with very many of you, so just quick background on myself. Born and raised here. My family has over 70 years of legacy in the community. After graduating, I went and graduated from the Air Force Academy, was a 12-year aviator in the Air Force, moved back here at the completion of that time. I'm still a reservist, and I love being back in this community. For my family, I'm raising 3 girls, and I absolutely love it. Next piece I'd like to say is that I recognize that each one of you are here because you care. You're giving of your time, lots of time and effort, and so I want to acknowledge that, and thank you for what you're doing. But now I got to address what happened with this paid parking thing. It kind of blew my mind. It was really interesting to watch it unfold. And even the responses from a couple of the council members to the petition, which has over 1,200 signatures as of today, shows confusion. I'm not sure that you all know what you did, which is concerning to me. So I'd like to start simply by reading what you voted on. Direct staff to proceed with the implementation of paid parking at city-owned parking lots as identified in the proposal, excluding Main Street parking, and return with any necessary ordinances, fee schedules, and implementation plans for council consideration. That sounds an awful lot like we are going to have paid parking. That doesn't sound like we're going to research paid parking. That doesn't sound like we're going to have more of an analysis. Let's get more data. That is an implementation of a paid parking plan minus Main Street. Correct me. Someone tell me if I'm wrong about that.
I'm not wanting to get too much interaction between everyone. I'd rather have everyone say their piece, and then the council will discuss.
Okay, perfect. So I guess the next thing I will say is based on my assumption that an implementation means it's happening, because to implement something means it will happen, not research it, because that's different. Research is research. Implement is different. So if words matter, then we're going to do this. And the only thing that you guys asked for were fee schedules, grace periods, ordinances, fee schedules to be drafted. The fee schedule, by the way, was in the proposal. So you voted to implement based on the proposal. So the fee schedule's already decided. That's very concerning. You had 24 hours worth of data. Having appropriate analysis and data is critical to making these kind of decisions, and 24 hours is not enough. So I would encourage you to please lean in and get a little more data before you make this kind of decision. Additionally, the government should never expand without a purpose. This money is not tied to anything. One of you responded with, hey, we're kind of like a business and we need to explore additional options. Oh, I'm running out of time. We need to consider, like, you're not a business. The government shouldn't get more money just because it can. That's not the idea here. So I would encourage you to please walk this back as quickly as you can. Do research. I'm not opposed to it, but let's tie it to something and do it with a purpose if you're going to do it. And that is not what happened. Thank you. Sorry.
And Council members, if you'll take notes and we'll, you can address anything you want after we get through this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to tell the doc on deck as well. So Joshua Bradford, you're up, and Dennis Weed, you will be on deck. So Joshua, you're still here? Yes, sir.
Members of City Council, my name is Joshua Bradford. Most of you know me from my day job, but I also own First Stitches, a small quilt shop here in Canyon City. I'm here to express concerns about the proposal to add paid parking to the city-owned lot near my business on South 4th Street. That lot is the only practical parking available for both my employees and many of my customers. For a small business like mine, parking is not just a convenience, it directly affects whether people choose to stop, shop, attend classes, or bring in machines for service. A quilt shop is not usually a quick in and out business. Customers who come in and browse fabric, compare colors, ask questions, attend classes, and bring sewing machines or large items for repair or purchase. Many of my customers may be in this shop for more than a few minutes. If they have to worry about paid parking, downloading an app, feeding a meter, or watching the clock during a class, it creates one or more reason for them not to come downtown. And I'll be honest, most of my customer base would be put off by having to actually figure out yet another app. I'm also concerned about my employees. If workers have to pay to come to work, that becomes an additional cost to them or to the business. Small businesses already operate on tight margins, and this kind of change can have a bigger impact than it may seem. I understand the city may be looking for ways to raise revenue, but I ask that the council consider the effect this could have on small businesses that help make downtown Canyon City active and welcoming. At a minimum, I would ask that the city consider protections such as free short-term parking, affordable employee permits, business validation options, and dedicated loading or drop-off spaces for customers carrying heavy items. Please do not move forward with paid parking without first working closely with downtown businesses that depend on these lots. What may seem like a small fee could become a real barrier for customers, employees, and the health of our downtown. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joshua. Dennis Weed and Joseph Stott, you're on deck.
Hi, Dennis Weed. Thanks for listening to me. I was here at the last council meeting when this whole parking issue was discussed, and I've been coming to council meetings for more than 25, maybe 30 years, and certainly was one of the most confusing conversations that I've had the pleasure of listening to. My point is that the only reason that paid parking was even being discussed was to fund operations of a swimming pool. And at that very same meeting prior to this, that was taken off the table. So it's totally beyond me why this is even a conversation. The only purpose of paid parking was in relation to the swimming pool, and that's not happening. So my recommendation would be just to rescind this motion, take it off the table and be done with it. And then this is a drum I've been beating for 20 years, and I bring it up every chance I get the opportunity. We as a city have literally let millions of dollars sift through our fingers simply because we haven't taken action on the recreational marijuana issue. It's a fee that, it's not a new fee, it's a fee that people who buy that product willingly pay, they're just paying it to other cities. And like I said, we're talking over 20 years, millions of dollars that we have let slip away. So I would really stress, and if for no other reason, just buffer our city safety funds or whatever you want to call them. But again, I would encourage you to reconsider that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. So, Joe Stott and Kendra Labont. And on deck is Jay Vander Suri, if I get your name right, Jay. So,
well, we're here to talk about, we have the property at 403 Royal Gorge. The Peabody. Now we have 4 spaces on the north and we have 1 space on the east for parking. So how are you gonna work that with us? For entrance and exit?
yeah, I think just raise your concerns if I can. I really don't want to have the council going back and forth. We want to hear from public citizens, and then I'm going to give the council a chance to address this. Otherwise, if we engage in a conversation with each one, it's going to be difficult. So I'm happy to have you bring your issue, what your concerns are, and lay those on the table, and we will address it.
Oh.
Well, we own a part of the driveway, so we're...
No, I understand.
Okay.
So
Yep.
you know that you don't have access or...
Yep.
In and out of the parking lot.
Yep, I want you to lay it on the table, what your concerns are, and I think you are at this point, so thank you.
Oh.
Any further comments? No. Okay, thank you. We're going to respond, but I want to just do it in an orderly fashion to move this through. Thank you. Joseph and Kendra. Jay? Welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the council, Mr. Mayor. My name is Jay Baldessari. I've lived in Canyon City for 16 years. I stand here tonight as a father, a husband, a concerned citizen of this community, and the one that created the Change.com petition. And honestly, I've never thought I'd be standing here at a city council meeting, but here I am. I'm here tonight representing more than 1,200 people in this community who are all asking the same question. What problem are we actually trying to solve? Because from where many of us stand, nothing is broken. This is just purely about revenue. And yet we're talking about introducing paid parking across 4 parking lots in Canyon City, South 3rd, South 4th, Peabody, and Veterans Park. I know the response is going to be it's only 4 lots, but this is exactly how these systems begin. Today it's 4 lots, tomorrow it becomes downtown. These are not random parking areas. Those are gateways to downtown, Centennial Park, the Riverwalk, and small businesses that rely on people being able to stop, park, shop, and support this city without hesitation. Right now, people come downtown because it's easy. They park, they walk, they shop, they eat, and they support our local businesses. This proposal changes that, because once you attach a fee to it, you change behavior. And we've already seen what has happened in communities like Manitou Springs. Paid parking does not eliminate issues, it creates them. It actually pushed visitors deeper into residential areas searching for free parking. That problem does not disappear, it spreads. At the same time, we're hearing about expanded free parking from the Royal Gorge Route Railroad, while the city is discussing charging for public access nearby that contradicts the matter. If one side is expanding access, why is the other restricting it? And now we're also hearing about the free parking passes for Canyon City, for Fremont County residents. But think about what that really means. Do we honestly want residents needing permits or passes to feel welcome in their own downtown and their own community? Because this conversation is no longer about parking, it's about trust. Do we want this council to feel more disconnected from the people it represents? Because whether it's attended or not, that's already what's happening. Canyon City is not Denver. We are not a tourism-driven metro built around paid access everywhere people go. We are a connected community where our downtown, our parks, our Riverwalk work together because people can move freely throughout them. And once paid parking systems go in, they rarely disappear. A fee becomes normal becomes permanent, and what once felt public starts feeling transactional. So tonight I'm asking you to really consider what message this sends. 5 years from now, we want this moment to represent the moment we protected access to our heart of our city, or the moment we started charging people to show up in our town. Please listen to the people speaking up about this tonight. protect access, identity, and connection that makes Canyon City what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Dawn Schmidl. Dawn. And on deck is Chris Wood. Welcome, Dawn.
So I came here tonight not prepared to speak, but I do have something on my mind. I own a business downtown Main Street that's open 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. I met 2 years ago, I know some of you guys weren't here then, regarding parking. Downtown either has 3-hour parking limits or doesn't have it. We never know when we're going to get hit with $30 tickets for parking downtown. It has all of a sudden started again with no notice to the community. So my customers are getting $30 parking tickets. My staff is getting $30 parking tickets. I have one parking spot in the back for my day staff. My night staff can't park it in the back. They're there sometimes till 4 or 5 in the morning. They have to park right in front of the bar. And we have to watch for the street sweeper or the snow plower to come by, and we have to move the cars for them at 2 or 3 in the morning, unsafe for my staff to do. And we were talking about permits for the people that are working till 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning, and this has been 2 years I've been waiting on this, and nothing has happened. Something has to start happening. And we, the citizens, should be notified I realize the signs are there, but sometimes we get a year without a parking ticket, and then all of a sudden it starts again and nobody's been notified. So I've had to pay my staff's parking tickets. A lot of people have come in saying, when did this start? I have no idea when it started again. And that's something our citizens should be notified about, whether we're on a parking limit or not. So I'm not sure whose problem that is, but it needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. Chris Wood, and on deck is Dan Francis.
Mayor, City Council, someone needs to say what a lot of citizens and business owners are feeling. Canyon City needs to stop creating obstacles.
A little closer on the mic. I'm sorry, Chris.
Sorry. Canyon City needs to stop creating obstacles and start creating opportunities. We cannot grow our community by making it harder for businesses to survive, expand, or invest here. Government should never be viewed as using its authority for bullying, retaliation, or picking winners and losers. City government should be a partner with local businesses, not another roadblock that they have to overcome. We need a serious plan that sends a message through Colorado. Canyon City is open for business. This means looking through bold ideas, reducing unnecessary regulations, speeding up the approval process, cutting through red tape, and considering incentives like temporary tax breaks or programs that encourage businesses to choose Canyon City. The way we grow revenue is not by constantly creating new fees or taking more money from the citizens and businesses already here. We grow revenue by bringing in new businesses, creating jobs, increasing economic activity, expanding our tax base. Then we need responsible leaders who remember that every dollar belongs to the taxpayers and who use that growth wisely to improve our community and provide amenities citizens deserve. When it comes to the pool issue, we also have to be honest. The current system has not delivered results. After all these years, we still do not have a pool. It is time to have a serious conversation about whether the recreation district should continue to control that responsibility or whether there is a better way forward. Canyon City has incredible potential. We have great people, a beautiful community, and opportunities waiting. But potential alone is not enough. We need leadership focused on growth, accountability, responsibility, and common sense. Stop standing in the way. Start opening doors, and let's make Canyon City a place where businesses come, invest, grow, and succeed. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Dan Francis, and next up is Beth Ketchmar.
Mayor, council members, my first introduction with the paid parking was I sat on the Citizens Committee back in January, February for the pool. And Mayor Pro Tem Meister, however you say the name, was brought up implemented the parking at that particular meeting. And it was one of the questions was, okay, well, what do we have to do? And it's being serviced by someone on the outside, which we never seem to talk about here, that 30%, maybe more, of what is collected by parking is going to go to an outside source, that money's never going to see its way back into Canyon City. And I think that's just a poor choice of just a service provider that's getting the benefit of all the people that we bring to town on the fact, for the simple fact that we're here. So I'm not really sure. I just wanted to know that it didn't go unnoticed to the committee, that this went presented to the Citizens Committee in February, and it made it to be implemented just in the last month, and then over a 90-day period. So I just think that's odd, and I don't think it goes unnoticed to the citizens. But I put down this thought, and I'll pass this on to you. Imagine I own a truck, and it's full with a tank of gas that I paid for. I drive it around the state promoting Canyon City, spending my own money to bring visitors here. When I finally arrive back at the city, the city sticks a hose into my gas tank and siphons off some of the fuel, simply because I showed up. They didn't buy the gas, they didn't help fill the tank, and they didn't help pay for the trip. But they did still take a portion of what I brought with me. That's what I paid for. That's what paid parking feels like for many local businesses. We invest in our community, advertising, events, attractions, and we bring tourists to town, and then the city imposes cost on that very visitor. Instead of finding ways to siphon value from the tourists that local businesses worked and paid for to attract, shouldn't we be looking for ways to encourage them to stay and to stay longer, spend more, and to come back again? Wouldn't that be a wiser choice for the committee as opposed to paid parking? A thriving local economy benefits everybody, including the city's tax base. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dan. Beth, and then next up is Dawn Lincoln.
Hi, I'm Beth Ketchmar. We moved down to this area 21 years ago, and we are heavily invested in multiple properties on Main Street and on Macon. And many of them are private parking lots that half of them are used by the city employees at no cost to the city. So when the paid parking issue was first presented to me, I was on that same citizens committee, and at the time we sought to look at and explore it as a possibility for paying for the operation of the pool. And it seemed like a good idea at the time, but as the idea was presented over the last couple months, it became evident that part of the biggest revenue would be from the Centennial parking lot, which is used by the train. And when the train brought up the issue of that they were going to build their own private parking lot, the biggest percentage of the paid parking would go away. And then when the city said they wouldn't do anything about the operating of the pool, and now the pool is a null issue, I was really, really surprised that then paid parking was still considered as an issue. Because when I was asked about it, I said, well, it might be a good idea if we're all working towards paid parking, the Centennial, the train parking lot, all the other parking lots, the parking on Main Street, and we're all going towards the operation of the pool. I said it might be a good idea because then we'd all be doing to a good cause, and it might help move the cars around on Main Street. But if you implement the parking that you're looking at now, not only if you say paid free parking on Main Street, that's not going to do any good if all the parking on either side, which is now currently occupied by employees, employers, building owners, and the people who live upstairs of many of the places on Main Street, will now look to the free parking on Main Street and will park their cars all the time. So are you going to implement the 3-hour parking? That's an additional cost that you have to do. But it will only hurt us. I have 45 employees that I employ and that live in this community. And it's ridiculous to think that you guys are going to have to make them pay for their parking. My private lots will be all occupied. I don't have the money to monitor my parking lots, and that's unfair to me. I already pay outrageous commercial property taxes, commercial insurance. You can't even hardly make $1. I can't make $1 on any of my properties. I have not raised rent ever on my commercial properties. And for you guys to just not even consider the people who are heavily invested in this community in many, many ways, to not even have a voice about paid parking, it's ridiculous. I have done a casual survey of hundreds of people who come into Pizza Mandas all the time, and everybody is very, very upset about the paid parking. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Dawn Lincoln, and next up is Paul Kulowick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. I'll be honest, I'd rather be at home in my jammies watching my shows and eating my favorite low-carb dessert. But I'm here tonight because I care about this community and the decisions being made for it, especially in a year like this when drought could impact rafting and local businesses. Paid parking didn't begin as a parking solution. It started as a way to help fund pool operations. When that option came off the table, the purpose shifted. First, it became a general fund revenue idea, and now it's being justified because drought might reduce tourism, which will affect sales tax revenue. The rollout has shifted just as much as the purpose. First, it was paid parking everywhere, and then only certain areas, and then not for residents, which clearly targets visitors. When both the purpose and the scope keep changing, it's hard for people to understand what problem this program is actually trying to solve. And honestly, this feels like the wrong year to add a barrier for visitors. If rafting takes a hit because of low water, we're already going to feel that. Businesses will feel it. The whole town will feel it. Adding a fee on top of that, especially one that's been confusing from the start, doesn't feel helpful. So I have a sincere question. Why is the city implementing a visitor fee when it doesn't fund, operate, or promote any tourism of its own? Tourism marketing in our region is handled primarily by the Fremont County Tourism Council, and the Royal Gorge Chamber Alliance plays a supporting role. Neither of those organizations are city-run or city-funded, and neither function as a municipal tourism office. What stands out to me is that neither of those groups seem to be part of this discussion at all. If the city isn't invested in bringing visitors here, it feels inconsistent to start charging them when they arrive. I've looked at what other Colorado towns do during down tourism years. Communities facing drought-related declines tend to focus on keeping visitors coming, not making it harder for them to show up. They expand city-sponsored events. They offer small incentives like discounts or coupons, promote alternative activities such as hiking, museums, or scenic drives, or even temporarily increase marketing so that visitors know there's still plenty to do even in low water years. I'm not saying those are the exact solutions for us. I'm saying that there are options, and people with more creativity or tourism experience than me could come up with ideas that fit Canyon City even better. My point is simple. We have choices, and paid parking, especially in a year when tourism might already be down, just doesn't feel like the choice that helps the community the most. So that's why I'm asking you to rescind the paid parking program. Not because I have a perfect replacement, but because I believe we could find something better, something that makes Canyon City more welcoming, more accessible, and more successful for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. Paul, and next up is Timothy Brown.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. My name is Paul Kolowick. I'm going to do things a little bit of a different perspective tonight. I am one of the volunteers of the Economic Development Committee here in town. When it was first started, everybody was saying that they were looking for input from the local economy, the people, the ones that live here. Things were going good. Then we go from, we're having 2 meetings a month. Then it's being moved down to 1 a month. And then we have council members making remarks, oh, I go to too many meetings as it is. If you have to go to other meetings to deal with what's being dealt with on the 3 committees, I don't think that's really fair. The way that I look at it, all the council members, you get a paycheck for doing this every month. I come here because I am a volunteer, because I am a citizen. I care about the town. And it just seems like, for whatever reason, some of our council members just don't want to see it, don't want to realize the people are speaking in this town. I am going to do everything to get more people to all the meetings that we have here, because of the fact that from people with their smiling as they're giving our mayor hard times, from individuals saying, well, I'm embarrassed because you don't want a pool. We started with a vote. No pool. We're going to have a pool. We need this gigantic, elaborate pool. To no pool, out of the blue. Let's have parking. All these different things that keep on coming up. The Economic Development Committee. We need not just seasonal minimum wage and tour jobs. Look what happened this year because of the cost of fuel, the economy, and everything else. This town is going to lose a lot of money this year because everybody seems to want to put all their eggs in one basket. We need diversity in town when it comes to jobs, different businesses that can offer more than minimum wage, which will definitely help a good part of our community here in town. For whatever reason, the people speak. Some of our government officials, it's like they got their own personal agenda. They do what they want to do. This is going to stop. I have announced it online. Next year, I am running for District 4 as a council member because I do not like what I see on a lot of different things besides the good that I do in town. There have been things sort of put in place that if things don't start changing with how the council and our government officials listen to the people of this town, things have already sort of been put in place where if things don't change, there will be recalls coming. I'm not saying when or who, but the possibility is out there. Either represent the people that you were voted in to do the bidding in what the town people want, or people will be removed. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Next up is Timothy Brown.
Mayor
Welcome,
Lund,
Timothy.
thank you for the time, council members. I went ahead and wrote a prepared statement to stay within the time limit at 2 minutes and 56 seconds. My family has been a resident of Fremont and Custer County now for 158 years. I'm invested in this community. I'm a local business manager, a business owner of 17 years, an artist, and someone who appreciates the opportunity that we have here to have studied and to still live here. So when we address the issue of paid parking, we're bringing something that others have already pointed out is a dead issue. So let's shut it down. Instead of just having a dissent, let's also bring opportunity. We have local business owners in construction that are running shops and that at the same time want the opportunity to do business with local people right here at home. Let's make it possible for them by making the permitting process easier. Reduce the fees just a little bit. Encourage them to put their value right here in our community. Let's work together. That way, our money stays here. It's not going to Denver, it's not going to Boulder, and it's certainly not going out of state. As we continue, we can choose individually as businesses whether or not it is right to charge for a customer to be out front if they want to stay longer than the 3-hour period. But let's not put it on the city to run another monetary grab that's going to risk businesses, tourism, and the public that comes in here for rafting, for hiking, and the adventure that we have in this community. As we come together, the public has made its position clear, and I appreciate the unity that we have here, not as individuals, but as a town, as a county, and as a state. Let's not turn into Denver, and certainly not Breckenridge or Canyon City. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy. And we just have 2 more to go. So I've got Wayne and then followed up with Matt Alexander. Welcome, Wayne.
Thank you. Good evening. I just wanted to make a couple points, I guess, on the parking. First point is whatever company you hire is going to charge a fee, whether people use the parking or not. So I just see it as another drain on the system. The other piece I see, and then when I saw this, my first thought went to this seems to be vindictive against a certain company that was against the pool. Look at the parking where you put it at. Whether it is true or not, it seems vindictive. And I'm not a person that has any association with any of these businesses down here. The final point is, I'm a taxpayer in this county and in this city. I utilize Veterans Park. Now you're going to charge me to utilize what I've already paid for in taxes. It doesn't seem fair at all. If you're going to do the parking, why not do it in Centennial Park? Why not down at the Riverwalk, further down the Riverwalk? Why not down Main Street? If we're going to do it, let's do it right, or do it completely. Or if we're just going to do it half-ass, then we shouldn't be doing it at all, because it seems to be very vindictive against a certain individual. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. Matt Alexander.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilman, Mr. Stevens, and for all the citizens who are not seated on a padded cushion. I stand before you tonight in opposition of parking. I'm running for Colorado House of Representatives for this exact reason. We're the 6th most regulated state in the nation. This does not fit Canyon City. This does not fit our way of life, and this does not fit our people. Salida, they tried to do paid parking. They hired a pro management company to look into it, and even as they decided this was not a fit for their community. We also must be careful of the slippery slope that we begin. Today, our paid parking is only in this neighborhood. But then once the money starts to come in, let's expand it to this neighborhood, and that parking. And why not let's go ahead and expand it to downtown. $60 to $80 million of our revenue come from tourism. And I imagine somebody coming down here to visit, and there's lots of wonderful shops down there to look at. But they have a 3-hour ticking time bomb. And if they don't get back, now they're going to be looking at what? Canyon City Police Department responsible for coming down to write citations and tickets? How does that work? How's the logistics going to fare? And then all of a sudden they've made it through most of the shops downtown, but maybe yours gets missed, that second or third shop that they just don't have time to look at. We got to get back to our car because we have to head on out of town because our welcome mat has expired. And so we need to not do this. This is not Canyon City's way. I'm a 4th generation Colorado native. I own a landscaping company in Canyon City for 20 years. And the idea of something like this in a town like this, it doesn't fit. Maybe it works for Colorado Springs. Maybe it works for Denver. Maybe it works for Golden. It sure doesn't work for Canyon City. Consider no. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. I want to thank all the citizens for choosing to speak this evening, and this is something that we absolutely need to continue in our system of government, is voices from the citizens. I'm going to turn this over to the council members. If you want to speak, go ahead and hit that button. And Fred Toney, you are up first, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we need to make a conscious decision to be business friendly in this town, to be citizen friendly. We need to listen to our citizens. Thank you for being here tonight. We need to welcome people to our town. We have a choice. We can tax and regulate, or we can grow our businesses and grow our funds through businesses. I think the latter is our way to go. So I think with that, I'll drop it from there for more discussion from the.
Okay, Councilmember Schmischer.
Thanks. I want to clarify my position on paid parking. At our previous meeting, this wasn't a decision that I took lightly. I had concerns about the impact of paid parking on our residents, on downtown businesses, and on visitors. And I was only comfortable moving forward with exploring the option through drafting ordinances because I understood that there could be safeguards in place or would be safeguards in place, including ways for local residents to park without having to pay and opportunities for businesses to provide validation or other customer incentives. I also understood that there was an urgent and compelling reason for additional operations and maintenance funding to allow a community pool project to move forward. As several residents noted this evening, immediately after that discussion on paid parking, Council made the decision not to provide financial support for a community pool given that change in circumstances, I no longer believe the justification that led me to support moving forward with paid parking exists. So for that reason, I'm not in favor of implementing paid parking at this time. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember McCullough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to clarify my position. Like many of you, I call Canyon City home. I have for most of my life. I was born and raised here, and I care about this community as well. I also voted to direct city staff to start preparing the ordinances for paid parking with the understanding that we might be able to use that for the pool. As Mayor Pro Tem noted, the motion directly after that took that option away. But we made that vote, or I made that vote before that motion was made. So I am also reconsidering my position, and I'll tell you why. 10 people reached out to me via email, and they were against it. One was for. And those people, by and large, were respectful. A couple of them maybe a little spicier, but they were the most persuasive to me. People who reached out to me, neighbor to neighbor, and had a conversation with me. It wasn't cartoons on a billboard, it wasn't AI posts online, it wasn't anybody on this dais. It was people speaking to me as a person. And that's what was most persuasive to me in changing my perspective. So I humbly ask that we do more of that. I would like to see more of your feedback, I would like to see more of your emails, but I would also appreciate the conversation and let it go both ways. So thank you for your feedback. I hear you, and I want you to know that.
Councilmember Maloney.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo exactly what Mayor Pro Tem Schmischer said. There's been a lot of confusion, which we've heard. There's a lot of things I can talk about to dispel that confusion, but at this point, I don't think it's even necessary. There's one thing about the 3-hour parking on Main Street. That's been down there for, can someone help me out how long we've had 3-hour parking on Main Street? Forever. The reason is I own a business on Main Street. I have 2 offices on Main Street. I live downtown. There's so much congestion and parking of people that just park their car for days on end that business owners down there have said for years and years and years, we have to have 3-hour parking, or we have to have limited parking. It went from 2 hours to a compromise of 3 hours. PD hasn't been staffed in order to enforce this for many, many years, but now maybe they are, and it might be getting enforced now. As a business owner downtown, I do not want to see the tenants upstairs parked for 72 hours at a time right in my front door. There needs to be some regulation to that. So I just want to make sure the 3-hour parking downtown has nothing to do with this. But after a lot of discussion, a lot of meetings, a lot of my friends talking to me, I'm just going to agree with what Mayor Pro Tem Schmischer said and how this all happened and came about. It was a good idea to start. I think if it was able to fund the pool, I'm not sure if anyone would still be here complaining about it. But it's not able to fund the pool, so therefore here we are. So, does anyone else have anything to say about this?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, then I'll stop right there. Thank you.
Councilmember Worthington.
I too want to second what Councilmember Schmischer said. I voted for it to begin with, simply knowing that there were safeguards in play to where if we did have more analysis, had better breakdowns of costs, because there was no way in heck I was going to agree with what they were proposing for parking per day or anything that way. I wanted to have more information. And I also knew that before something like this would go ahead, there had to be a purpose for the money. That too had to go before council and had to be voted on. But I will say that again, because of and I will call it great feedback, I kind of hate, it's a mixed blessing. It's nice to finally get the public involved when there is something that is very heartfelt by the whole community, and I appreciate that. And I too sit here saying that I am no longer in favor of paid parking whatsoever because we have no real purpose for it, and I believe of all the comments that have been made as far as economic development, tourism, trade, and again, this time of year, and this particular year is not a good time. So just wanted to let you know that you have had an impact on the thoughts of the people you have elected to represent you. And thank you.
Councilmember Dennehy.
And I'm going to just, I don't have much to say. I thank you all for coming. This to me, to have a council meeting, when we've had council meetings, we've had them before when there's been a hot topic, where all of a sudden we do get a big display of people. But to have it right now, where we have people here discussing, this is what a city should be about. And I agree with that 100%. I was downtown the other day at a donut shop, and I'll bet I had 15 people come up and talk to me. And everyone was against it. Now, I did have one person email me about the parking who was way in favor of it. But you know what? This is what we need to hear, and I wish, on every subject we go over, I wish we could hear. Not that we have to have 4-hour meetings, because I'm not a monster fan of that, but, yeah, if we can get this going, have the community address. But, as far as this goes, we've listened. I think there's no doubt in my mind where this parking thing will, personally, I have a feeling where it's going, and I think you guys do too. So thank you.
I've got some folks that want to make motion. I do want to make one statement myself, which is that if we rescind this, which I absolutely am in favor of, we're only back to neutral as far as where we are. And I would encourage this council to strongly get behind economic development and pushing forward with a pro-citizen, pro-business agenda, and we make no bones about it. The gentleman who is talking about the permit issues and all of those things, I get called every single day, and I am not exaggerating, of the challenges that people have with this city. And I also get hit with many times that citizens are unwilling to speak before this council because they're concerned about retribution. And you can believe that or not, but that is the fact of this city. And Councilmember Worthington, last week when we finished up, challenged me to make sure that I send things to you, and I will be doing that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate very much citizens, but let's just not kill parking, paid parking. Let's strongly pivot to a pro-business, pro-citizen agenda that deals with the issues that are before us and get us on a different trajectory, and one that really boosts the economy. And I get calls from young people all the time as well who want to live here, want to raise their kids here, and want to have a job here. And so let's pivot as well. I recognize Mr. Maloney, and after that I'm going to go to Fred Tony for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to, us sometime in the future, look at a long-term parking plan for the city. We don't have a plan in place. That's why these things are so confusing. Not to implement anything, don't get me wrong, but just to study at some point in time, maybe next year or the year after, that just identifies what that looks like for the future, if that's okay. And the other thing I'd like to request is in our committees, we start focusing on a lot of the positives that our staff and our groups are doing for the city, a lot of the good things that are happening, because we're getting pretty beat up here. But there's a lot of good things going on, and I would maybe in our committee meeting, we talk about how we can talk about the positives as well as the struggles. And that's all I have to say about that.
I appreciate that, and I do want to point out to this council that they recently expanded the provisions of downtown that and caused more flexibility, and that needs to be commended. They took on the issue of flock cameras and made good decisions on that. So there are good things that are happening from this council, and I appreciate that. But I would encourage us, again, let's just not go neutral on this one. Let's pivot and really get as much pro-business and pro-citizen as we possibly can. And I'm not certain what the negative is with that we move forward. So I recognize Fred Tony for a motion.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to rescind this paid parking implementation plan, and I would like to, as Councilman Maloney had stated, I'd like the city staff and give them the time to do it properly, a study and a recommendation to the council to for parking in Canyon City, whether it be more parking lots, whatever it is. I won't wage in on that, but give the city staff time to do a good
Parking plan.
parking plan, please.
Councilmember Reeves.
I second it.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I would suggest, since you are rescinding a previous motion, that you actually break those into two.
Okay, so you fine with that? The first motion is just to rescind, and we'll go
Yes.
for that. So
Yes.
thank you, Attorney Corey. Jeremy Reeves, are you good with that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we rescind the paid parking plan adopted on June the 1st. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Smisher, may I have your vote, please?
Aye.
Unanimously passed.
Okay. Councilmember Tony, on this, yes, Ryan.
Yeah, not opposed to making a motion, but I think it'd probably be easier to just direct city staff to bring forward a paid parking plan in the budget for 2027.
I don't think that's what he's asking, not
That's
a paid
not what I'm
parking.
saying.
Oh, not paid parking plan. Matt, I'm sorry.
A parking study.
A parking study.
Okay.
I would say a solution for Canyon City's parking issues, whether it be the 3-hour parking you brought up or multiple parking spots. But that's up to the staff, like you said, to do.
A parking plan, but
A parking plan.
but nothing to do with paid.
Yeah.
That's dead and gone. So there we go. So the staff is so directed, and we won't need to make a motion on that. With that, I think we are adjourned.